Hi, everybody. Sarah Bonner here. As promised, I wanted to give just a really brief overview of how to read our student portfolios that we're building here through our Google Drives this year in 8th grade language arts. In addition to that, I wanted to also make sure that you were accustomed to looking at feedback and things that are happening between your child, as well as myself, as well as Miss Marks, our student teacher, and Mrs. Nelson, our co-teacher. If you take a look at my sample student portfolio here in front of us, you'll be able to see something. Hopefully by now you may have been familiar with it. The only way that maybe you haven't been familiar with it is that your student has not shared this portfolio with you. Ideally, because we do not necessarily work on Skyward, we want to provide a space where you can always be in tune with your child's work. Having your child share this portfolio with you is really easy. If your child goes into the drive, pulls up his or her folder or portfolio, drops down and hits share, this will allow you to enter in your email address and then be networked into this folder. Our primary reason for talking today, though, it talks about this folder right here with this assessments and observations. If you have a chance to pull up your child's folder, or once it's shared, pull up your child's folder, you want to go ahead and take a quick moment to click on that assessment folder, and you should actually see 2 to 3 documents that house in this folder right now. The first document looks like a Google Doc, and it might look like this. It might also just have some narrative or paragraphing sentences that are on it. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one, for example. As you'll notice up on the top, this is sample students' observations. This is for the August-September date. And this is just kind of a jotting of notes, like a running record of notes that I see within class that I might interact with your child. If your child asks me questions, or we conference, or if they're not understanding a concept, what I tell students is that a lot of times as I walk around, I'm carrying a notepad and I'm just jotting down some ideas, not only for myself to inform me on what to cover in class, but it's also some individual notes that I'm making on the actions of our students, so that I can go back to their notes and put that in. Not only is that communication for you, but it's also good narrative for our students, so they can be mindful of the things that I see and I observe them do in class. Plus, it also helps them come to grade negotiations with a lot more evidence, and so that we can come together in what that grade should actually be to highlight their progress, performance, and participation in this class. I'm going to switch back now. The other page that you'll see is something that will be in here every 4 weeks, and this is teacher feedback. So if you were to click on this one, you should be able to see a list of pieces that, if they are highlighted, that means that we are not seeing it yet, or not showing progress, or something that I would consider to be setting goals. To kind of walk you through this a little bit, we break learning down into participation, progress, and performance, and then each bullet point is what that means. I highlight things according to the student that I feel still need to be a part of our conversations in class with goal setting. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll start seeing our learning standards, or what we consider content-specific feedback. And these are things students can use as goal setting as they go into different pieces of in-class work or projects that we're working on in class. For example, if I'm highlighting strong vocabulary in writing with our current writing project right now, this is something that students can keep in mind as they venture into a draft, and instead of using vocabulary like things and stuff, maybe they're actually making efforts and wanting to interject vocabulary, and those efforts will also translate into their participation and their progress. And hopefully, if they know that they're receiving feedback on vocabulary, they're going to want to try to experiment more with vocabulary, and that could be a discussion that we have in our grade negotiations. The progress or what you're putting into your learning journey to emphasize and strengthen your process, or your literacy core throughout the year. If you scroll down, you'll see there's more content-specific goals that could be highlighted. If they're not highlighted, that means that we're seeing these things or they are meeting that's happening right now in class. You'll also see that there are some standards that are crossed out, and that's just specific to the time where this teacher feedback is given. These are standards that are not being covered at the time or not being emphasized. Speaking and listening. And then at the very end, I always tell students that I think this is one of the most important pages because oftentimes, whether we receive a percentage grade or if we receive, an 8 out of 10, we don't know what those things are, nor do we know how to improve ourselves. So I wanted to give some suggestions for improvement, and this changes throughout the year as well as we move into different things. What time management should be looking like for a fourth quarter eighth grader, or what asking questions should look like in second semester. And these are some things that I'm highlighting for this specific sample student that they could take into consideration as they move forward in the next half of our quarter. This will be out there every 4 weeks, so it allows students to keep being pushed along in their learning journey throughout the quarter. So this is for midterm, and then the students will receive another one for quarter, and then I just keep going in midterm, quarter, as they receive feedback. All of those materials are located in our assessment and observation notes. Now, I will tell you the observation notes is not something that I go to every day, but it is something that I update quite a bit. So you are free to go in there as many times as you need to. If you have any questions, please know that you can email me anytime. But this is just kind of a way to take a look at what's available to you as a parent on how to read, have conversations at home, and kind of give you some language as well to kind of support your child's literacy journey as they enter in this class this year. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.